start saying things that you know are too personal?
Why does that make me upset? So, yeah, the question is, do I get upset when people start saying things that are too personal? No. I imagine that this is an experience they want to have, and so they've decided to go that way, and that's their business. I'm there to support. Whatever people want to do, I'm there to support them. I'm not a, I probably was a very judgmental person in my past, and I just don't think that's my role in life at this point. My role in life is to support people in, and what are they saying anyway? What's so personal? I think this is what I'm talking about. All this crap we create to make people miserable or upset or uncomfortable. It's stupid.
Jason asks, can you talk street?
Can I talk street? Not anymore. I haven't practiced in years. As a kid, I used to be really good at it, and it was like having another language because, like my mother was always like really interested in us speaking well. And so we had to learn to do that at home. But then, like as I became a teenager, it was like, hey, I wanted to speak slang, and I used to do that all the time, and I got really good at it. But I couldn't talk it at home, so I'd talk, this way at home and out on the street with my friends. I'd talk the other way, and then you go to college, and then you get very busy, and, it's just easier to communicate well. And so that's what I wound up doing, and I haven't practiced in years, but I love slang, and so I try to keep up with a word or two, throw them in here and there.
Gary says, you do so much charity work. Would you ever consider doing a reality show like The Celebrity Apprentice to raise money for charity?
Well, that might be a good idea. I don't know. I think that one of the things you don't want to do with your charity work is start to, I don't know, make it a job. I think it's something you do because you just truly feel that there's a need, and it should come from your heart. But maybe somebody feels that it would make a good TV show, and they should do it.
Clayton asks, do you think you'd leave New York City for the show or your personal life?
Let's see. Would I leave the show for work or my personal life? Yes, but not all the time. I love New York. And so I could part-time live somewhere else. But I always think I want to have like a foothold in New York, like it's my home.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Where do I see myself in 10 years? I'm not that, I don't think that far ahead. Like I can't even see the end of this 5-year contract with Sirius. So where would I be 10 years from now? I have no idea. I like to take everything one day at a time. Too much planning. Then you're locked into something. So I say I'm supposed to be the Queen of England in 10 years. Now I actually have to go do it, even if I discover that I don't want to. So I like to take life in small increments.
Jonathan's Leilerberg asks, would you consider this Q&A an act of level 4 narcissism?
Yes, if that's the way you want to see it, this is the ultimate, the height of, and it's all about me.
Zach asks, when you roasted Joan Rivers, who wrote your jokes?
I had a lot of help. Jim Florentine helped me, some other comedians that I know, Sal and Richard, and then there were some writers on the show as well who helped me to do some other material, crafts and things. So it was a really collaborative effort.
We've had a few questions about whether you see yourself doing a Joy Behar type show and sort of taking over where Oprah left off.
Maybe there'll be some information about me and television and other kinds of talk shows coming up in the near future, so stay tuned.
Are you going to be doing more live streams like this in the future?
I like this, so if there's a call for it, certainly I could do that.
Do you have any good wine recommendations for us right now?
You know what? I wish I had made a list of wines that I've been enjoying for you, but on short notice I don't have Let me think. Let me really think about this because, a face just popped into my head of one of my favorite wine growers. And can I remember his name? Cap Shandy. That is a really excellent wine. This is a California wine grower whose desire really is to do a Bordeaux style wine in the Napa Valley, and we're talking top shelf. He's really got good grapes, and he's got a great winemaker, and his product is excellent.
Kyle asks, if there's one thing I could do for a healthier lifestyle, what would you suggest?
Okay, if there's only one thing that you could do, and I don't know where you are in your habits right now, but if you're eating a standard American diet and you drink diet soda, that would be the first thing to eliminate.
Kathy asks, have you purchased expensive wine ever since they made fun of that $800 bottle?
Sure. I've given some to Howard. I'm not opposed to any price point if that's what you want to pay. But, you can also, one of the joys of wine is every spectrum is a joy in wine. To be able to buy a very expensive bottle of wine is really lovely. And the most fun is to find inexpensive bottles of wine that are really, really good. So it's all, I come out here every summer with my oldest friend. And, she doesn't make the kind of money I make, and so she lives on a budget that's different from mine. And, so we go to these great wineries, and she comes back and she finds out the price points of the wine we've been drinking, and she's like, I can't take that home. And I say, well, that's why we use our friend Scott from the V Wine Cellar. Tell him you want something like that, but at a better price point. That's what he's for. And so she winds up finding great wines because they now know the kind of flavors she likes based on what she liked in the wine tasting.
Roseanne asks, what are some of the things you look for in a man? Any deal breakers?
Oh, God. Asking about deal breakers and selecting a man, I think in my history there have been nothing but deal breakers. A man would have to be able to handle what goes on with me in my life. And he'd have to be able to be supportive of the kind of projects that I want to be involved in. And he'd have to totally get me and where I'm coming from. And so, yeah, that's a tough bill because, I'm not all that adaptable.
Drew asks, is there going to be good wine at the concert?
Oh, my God. At the concert, I don't know if they'll be serving wine at the concert. They will? At the dinner, we'll be having great wine, but I don't know that you can be walking around with wine glasses at the Lincoln Theater.
Mike asks, do you find it difficult to go out in public because of being so recognizable?
It's something you get used to, when you don't feel like being involved, you stay home or you're quiet with friends or, I have a house on the Jersey Shore where, I just invite people in and we have a great time and I don't have to worry about things like that. But I have to say, we have some of the most wonderful, lovely fans, and they're very respectful and hardly intrusive, and they just come up and say hello and thank us for the work that we do, and that's always great to hear.
A few people want to know if you've had any ayahuasca flashbacks or after effects.
No, it's been nothing like that. I haven't been walking around and all of a sudden found myself in some Technicolor ridiculous maze of science fiction images. I simply remember the things that came out of it and am trying to apply them to my life.
Honey and Lola ask, do you like Obama?
I think like most people, I would have to say that I have been disappointed in the first 1,000 days or whatever we are at this point. I don't know if we've gotten there yet, but, so far it's been, he was in a precarious position when he came into office. And as he moves to the center, I think there have been some missteps, and that energy we thought there was for some kind of revolution in government has not been answered. And so disappointed would be what I would say. Do I like him? I don't know him as a human being, but I do know that he had incredible charisma, and he came in on this wave of excitement. I thought maybe it was too much to ask, but that's what he kept selling. And then I always wonder what that briefing is when you first become president and they take you back in the room and they tell you what's really going on, because everybody comes out of there a changed person. And I really don't know, and you don't know unless you're in the position, exactly what you face and how hard it is to change the course of state based on where we've been and the compromises and the agreements we've made behind closed doors under the guise of national security. I don't know what that is. I don't